so long, and the feeling that I feel for you is more than strong, girl. Love it all. Don't throw it all away on love.
He spent his life chasing two things, music and love. But when he finally found the woman he couldn't live without, he lost everything else. They were beautiful, famous, and deeply in love, or so it seemed. He was the golden boy of pop. She was America's primetime sweetheart. Together, they looked unstoppable, but behind the charm and the cameras, something darker was growing. And when she finally walked away, Andy Gibb was never the same. To understand why that moment shattered him, we have to go back to where the spotlight first found him, because the signs were always there, and one single choice would nearly cost him everything. Before the sold-out arenas, before the chart-topping hits, Andy Gibb was just a quiet boy with a sweet voice and a wide-eyed dream. Born in 1958 on the Isle of Man, the youngest of 5 siblings, Andy didn't grow up in a home full of pressure, but he did grow up in a home full of music. His older brothers, Barry, Robin, and Morris, were already on the path to stardom, carving out their place as the Bee Gees. While they chased fame across continents, little Andy stayed behind with his parents in Australia. He was playful, affectionate, sensitive to a fault. And from the start, it was clear he craved attention, not for glory, but for love. At 13, he dropped out of school to pursue music. He played in small clubs, barn parties, anything that would let him sing. And when he opened his mouth, people stopped to listen. But what Andy really wanted was to be seen, to be loved, not just by audiences, but by someone who'd understand his heart. When his brothers finally helped him land a record deal in the U.S., Andy's career skyrocketed faster than anyone expected. At just 19, his debut single, I Just Want to Be Your Everything, soared to number 1.
I just wanna be your everything.
Then came Love Is Thicker Than Water, another number 1.
Love is higher than a mountain. Love is thicker than water.
Then Shadow Dancing, a third. He was the youngest male artist in history to have 3 consecutive number 1 hits. Teen magazines called him the next Elvis. He sold out shows across the US and UK, appeared on every major talk show, and even starred in TV specials. But success came at a cost. Andy wasn't built for the business machine. He was fragile, insecure, easily overwhelmed. He hated being alone, and the more successful he became, the lonelier he felt. His brothers were busy with their own careers. His schedule was relentless, and slowly his dream was starting to feel more like a trap. Behind closed doors, he started relying on cocaine to keep up, then to escape, then to numb the pressure that wouldn't go away. Then he met her. Victoria Principal was already a household name, the star of Dallas, one of the most watched shows in the world. Strong, independent, fiercely private, and stunning. Andy was smitten. From the first time they spoke, he was hooked. He called her every night, sent flowers, showered her with affection. And for a while she responded with warmth. They looked perfect together, the pop star and the primetime queen. But for Andy, it was more than love. It was salvation. He truly believed Victoria could save him from himself. He started telling people she was the one. That with her by his side, he could finally turn things around. He slowed his career, canceled appearances, missed rehearsals, and when friends asked what was going on, he had one answer: I'm in love. But what Andy thought was healing was really dependency, and what Victoria saw as romance soon began to feel like pressure. She cared for him, she admired his talent, but she wasn't ready to be his therapist or his rescuer. Andy's struggles with addiction didn't magically vanish. In fact, they got worse. He grew more possessive, more erratic. He clung to her not just emotionally, but psychologically. At times he was joyful and passionate. At others, withdrawn and panicked. Victoria tried to support him, encouraged him to get help. But Andy kept slipping. And in the press, their relationship became a spectacle, tabloids feeding off rumors of breakups and meltdowns. To the world, they were still a fairy tale. Behind closed doors, they were unraveling. By 1981, Victoria had reached her limit. She ended the relationship, quietly, without a public war. But for Andy, it was devastating. Friends said he was inconsolable, that he stopped eating, that he stopped trying. He missed interviews, disappeared from the studio, and when people asked where he'd been, Andy didn't have an answer. He said it himself in later interviews, "I just fell apart." She was the only thing I had left. He tried to win her back, letters, calls, promises, but it was over. And just like that, the love he thought would save him became the weight that dragged him down. After Victoria left, Andy's career slipped into freefall. He was dropped from his record label, fired from Broadway's Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat after missing too many shows. Rumors swirled about overdoses, rehab, and depression. His brothers tried to help. Barry especially stayed close. But Andy pushed people away. He felt ashamed, embarrassed, like a burden. He'd gone from global pop star to cautionary tale in less than 5 years. There were moments of light, appearances on talk shows, efforts to clean up, a hopeful interview here and there. But something had changed. Something inside him had broken. And it wasn't just fame or pressure. It was heartbreak. In the final years of his life, Andy bounced between recovery and relapse. He lived in Miami, then in California. Tried rehab, talked about recording a new album. He even reconnected with Barry, who began writing songs for a potential comeback. But his confidence was gone. By early 1988, he seemed more stable, healthier, more hopeful. He was about to sign a new record deal. Friends said he was finally getting back on his feet. But then, his body gave out. On March 10, 1988, just 5 days after his 30th birthday, Andy Gibb collapsed at John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. The cause? Myocarditis. Inflammation of the heart, likely worsened by years of drug abuse and stress. He died alone, quietly, without the crowds, without the headlines. Victoria never spoke much about Andy after his death. When asked, she only said, "I did everything I could." His brothers were heartbroken. Barry, who had tried so hard to protect him, later said, "Andy just wanted to be loved." And maybe that was always the truth. He didn't want money or glory or even fame. He just wanted to matter to someone, completely. In Victoria, he thought he'd found that. And when he lost her, the spotlight no longer meant anything. Today, Andy Gibb is remembered not just for his music, but for his fragility. His songs still play, his smile still warms hearts, but his story is a reminder of how quickly it can all slip away. He gave the world his voice, but what he needed was someone to hear his silence. Andy Gibb wasn't just another pop star. He was a bright light, burning too fast, too young, and too alone. If this story moved you, subscribe for more real-life legends. And if you remember Andy or knew someone like him, share your thoughts below. Because sometimes the smallest voices leave the biggest echoes.